Coming up, police revive cold medal case of artist manager Fennec Okyere after Shatta Wale and Bulldog social media exchanges linked the case. Former CHRAJ Commissioner Emile on why he thinks what he describes as the excessive powers of appointment and influence granted to the President of Ghana should be reduced. Religious leaders reiterate the call for all forms of small-scale mining to be temporarily suspended as part of efforts to help check illegal mining. The minority in parliament raises issues with fuel prices and says the government is rather making more profit from the Russian-Ukraine war, per the projections made earlier in the year. The Ghana Space Agency will be operationalized in 2023, according to Vice President Bawumia, and we will tell you the story of a 2-year-old girl who went missing at Agbogbloshie in Accra and has been found dead in a drain after 3 days. Welcome to Graphic Online's News in Brief. We start from the entertainment area, where the 2014 cold medal case of artist manager Fennec Okyere has been revived by the police. This is coming on the heels of this week's social media exchanges between Shatta Wale and his former manager Bulldog. Hip life artist Kwakese jammed into the exchanges between dancehall artist Shatta Wale and Nana Esiama Hansen, popularly known as Bulldog today. Kwa appealed to the police to get Shatta Wale and his former manager to assist in investigations on the murder of Fennec Okyere, who was Kwa's manager. And in a statement released just this evening, the police says Shatta Wale has been invited to assist with investigations and he is cooperating with the police.
Fennec Okyere was killed by some unknown assailants in 2014. Kwakese's post came after Shatta Wale had posted something on social media that his former manager Bulldog confided in him about Fennec's murderers. Shatta Wale and Bulldog have been at each other's throat with accusations and counter-accusations on social media this week. The police statement released this evening said the Ghana police attention has been drawn to a tweet by Charles Ni Ama Mensah Jr., popularly known as Shatta Wale, regarding the death of artist manager Fennec Okyere. The police have made contact with Shatta Wale, who is cooperating with us on the matter. The police would like to put on record that the recently established Cold Case Unit has been working for months on all unresolved murder cases, including that of Fennec Okyere, with support from the affected families. This new development from Shatta Wale is therefore going to complement our ongoing investigation. We would like to take this opportunity to thank all the families who have been working with the Cold Case Unit since its establishment for their cooperation and understanding. We wish to assure the public that the police will continue to work relentlessly on these cases in order to bring closure to the affected families.
And on the issue of the powers of the President of Ghana, former CHRAJ Commissioner Emile says the excessive powers of appointment and influence granted presidents under the 1992 Constitution creates a winner-takes-all politics in the country's democratic dispensation.
The former Commissioner on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Justice Emile who was speaking at a seminar on the theme, reviewing Ghana's 1992 Constitution, the excessive powers of the President in Accra yesterday, argued that the combined effect of the unrestrained appointment powers of presidents and weak oversight by the legislature often leads to large-sized government that burdens the ordinary taxpayer. In view of this unfortunate development, Justice Short has suggested that it was necessary to implement the recommendations made by an 11-member advisory committee of experts and eminent Ghanaians under the chairmanship of Archbishop Gabriel Charles Palmer Buckle, formed in 2014 to re-examine the issue and seek broader consultations for reforms. The seminar was organized by Professor Mike Okwe Center for Constitutional Studies at the Institute of Economic Affairs.
We stay at the presidency where, when religious leaders called on the president yesterday, they reiterated the call for a temporary ban on all forms of small-scale mining for a period. The reason is that the ban period could be used to educate and provide information to communities to enable them identify licensed small-scale miners and illegal ones, so as to be able to join in the fight against illegal mining.
The religious leaders called on the government to arrest and prosecute all persons involved in illegal mining without fear or favor. They also called for a temporary ban to be placed on small-scale mining, made up of representatives from the Christian Council of Ghana, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the Pentecostal Council, the Ghana Charismatic and Pentecostal Council, and the Muslim Council. The group's visit was a follow-up to a press release they issued on October 17th on the Galamsey Minutes, a copy of which was sent to President Akufo-Addo. Briefing the president, the spokesperson for the group, Right Reverend Professor J.O.Y. Mante, said, "We know we get money from small-scale mining, but there is the need to arrest and prosecute people involved in Galamsey without fear or favor." He said even if the person arrested was a reverend minister, the group wanted to see the person prosecuted. If the person is a politician or chief, we want to see it publicly because we know that if we make all the wealth in gold but destroy our environment on land, where will we build our houses? Where will we plant our food, and what water will we drink? He quizzed. Reverend Professor Mante said they were ready as religious leaders in the country to help curb the Galamsey menace and asked that if there is something that we do not know, we really want to know because things are getting very bad.
We now take you to Parliament, where the minority is urging the government, as a matter of urgency, to apply the profit it has been making from the country's petroleum resources to subsidize the rising cost of fuel.
Addressing journalists today, the minority said the high rising cost of fuel has made life unbearable for all, particularly on the poor, as the rising cost of fuel is having dire consequences on food items. Speaking for his colleagues, John Jinapor, the ranking member on the Energy and Mines Committee of Parliament, called on the government to immediately do something about the situation.
I wish to place on record that this government is making so much money from the Ukraine-Russian war. In the 2022 budget, government projected that it will receive a total amount of about 6 billion for the whole of 2022. That is what was projected in the budget. Today, as we speak, from the PIAC report, in less than 3 months, and I mean just 1 quarter, government has received over 8 billion cedis from our petroleum resources. So in 3 months, government has received more than it projected for the whole year. So government is making supernormal profit. In fact, even the price stabilization and recovery levy, which is supposed to subsidize fuel, government projected that in the first 2 quarters, it will receive 269 million. As we speak, from the Ministry of Finance's own record, government has received about 800 million.
And in the area of safety for journalists, Latif, a journalist with the multimedia group, has initiated a move to be at the forefront of an advocacy on the safety of journalists. Supported by Professor Audrey Gajepo, a communications professor at the University of Ghana, they visited the Graphic Communications Group Limited today, where Latif presented 2 helmets and an armored vest to aid in the coverage of street protests. He explained his motivation for the move.
And I've decided to embark on this journey. And what I'm going through now is painful, it's unfortunate, and I do not want to see any colleague journalist anywhere in the world go through similar experience. It's been a major setback for me, and I don't want to see any of my colleagues going through. And that is why I'm doing this. I don't want to talk too much. We are starting with just a few, with the hope that going forward we'll be strengthened enough to raise much more money to purchase more protective gears to distribute to not just Graphic and other leading media outlets, but across the country, in the sub-region, on the continent, and globally, like CPJ, like Reporters Without Borders, like IFCJ, and all the international well-known advocacy groups. We want to do something different. We will do media advocacy, thanks to Prof here. We will do training, organize workshops, we will do award ceremonies. Those are in the long term, but immediately what we want to do is to protect give meaning to protection of journalists.
So who is that is peaceful, Tony.
Vice President Dr. Bawumia has announced that the Ghana Space Agency will be operationalized in 2023 as part of efforts to harness the power of Earth observations to support planning and decision-making in weather forecasting, monitoring and response to natural disasters.
The Vice President, who disclosed this at the opening session of the Group on Earth Observations Week in Accra on Wednesday morning, said Cabinet has approved the Ghana Space Policy and Implementation Plan. The plan, he said, will enable the full operationalization of the National Space Agency.
And to some sad news, a 2-year-old girl who was reported missing some 3 days ago at Agbogbloshie in Accra was today found dead in a drain. The deceased, identified as Wasila, was last seen playing near the drain in the railways area on the Graphic Road. According to some eyewitnesses, she was found today following an intensified search. The body was seen floating in the drain, and the police have initiated investigations into the incident. News in Brief is brought to you by Graphic News Plus.
Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Visit us on graphic.com.gh for further information. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
Thank you for watching. For more news, please visit our website graphic.com.gh or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH. I am Enoch Dafa Frimpong.
Subscribe now.